The garage door groaned like it always did when the wind came down off the Cascades, but tonight the sound hit Avery Quinn like a hammer on cold steel. She was 21 as of midnight, bone-tired after 16 hours on her feet, 8 at Boone Forge quenching blades, 8 more slinging burgers at the brewpub on 5th and Pearl. Her boots were still wet from the Oregon rain, her hoodie reeking of fryer grease and cherrywood smoke. All she wanted was the low orange glow of her propane forge and the steady heartbeat of the anvil. She thumbed the keypad. The roll-up door rattled halfway, then froze. Empty. No anvil. No belt grinder. No racks of half-finished chef knives, gleaming under LED strips. The concrete floor looked freshly swept like someone had vacuumed away 4 years of her life. The only thing left was a single fluorescent tube flickering overhead, buzzing like a dying mosquito. Avery's duffel slipped off her shoulder and hit the ground with a dull thud. "Happy fucking birthday," she whispered. From the house came music, some hyper-pop track Harper used for her unboxings. Avery stepped through the side door into the kitchen. The smell of takeout Tide drowned out the usual pine sol and desperation scent of the Quinn household. Rick Dad was perched on a barstool phone propped on a stack of unopened bills, filming in vertical. Lynn Mom held ring lights like she was born to them. Harper, 19, going on influencer, squealed as she peeled shrink wrap off a rose gold iPhone 16 Pro Max. "Chat, look at this camera bump. Triple lens, 8 kelvins, I'm literally shaking." Harper's voice cut off when she spotted Avery in the doorway, hoodie, dripping, eyes wide. "Ew, have you smell like onions? We're live." Rick didn't even lower the phone. "Close the door, kiddo. You're letting the heat out." Avery's pulse hammered in her ears louder than any power hammer. "Where's my forge?" Rick finally glanced up the same flat insurance adjuster stare he used on totaled sedans. "Sold it. Got 38 grand from a dealer in Portland. Liam's deposit at Michigan Med is due Monday. You live under my roof, Avery. Family first." Harper rolled her eyes so hard the ring light caught it. "Your junk was taking up the whole garage, sis. I needed space for my new backdrop wall." Avery took one step forward. The kitchen tile felt colder than the concrete. That junk was a custom Evenheat oven. Hand-laid fire brick. 15 grand. Not yours to sell. Lynn said, a light-down voice, syrupy. "Honey, we left you the old grinder. You can start over. Community college has night classes." "Start over?" Avery's laugh cracked like green wood in a kiln. "I built that forge board by board. Every dollar from double shifts. Every blister. Grandpa's tongs were in there." Rick shrugged. "Grandpa's been dead 8 years. Tools don't pay mortgages." Harper was already back to the camera. "Chat, my dad is literally goals. Prioritizing education over like hobby knives, smash follow." Avery turned and walked back to the garage. The fluorescent buzzed louder. She knelt where her anvil had sat, 400 pounds of cast steel gone. But the trapdoor she'd poured herself, the one under the rubber mat, was still there. She pried it with the tire iron from her truck. Hinges screeched. Inside the shallow lead-lined vault, 200 pounds of Damascus billet layered like storm clouds, worth 600 an ounce to the right buyer. And wedged in the corner, the propane forge's little brother, her backup, heat treat oven, 15 grand of programmable precision they'd overlooked because it was just a metal box. Avery ran her fingers over the cold steel. The rain drummed on the roll-up door like a drum roll. Rick's voice drifted in from the kitchen, still filming. "Say hi to the chat, Liam, future doctor, waving from Ann Arbor." Avery closed the trapdoor, stood up and pulled her phone from her pocket. One new text from Silas Boone, sent 3 hours ago, probably while she was elbow-deep in dishwater. "Silas, dealer in Portland, just posted your anvil on Blade forums. $38K. Want me to make a call?" She typed back with thumbs that didn't shake anymore. "Avery, call in the cavalry. Bring a box truck. Midnight." Then she opened Harper's live stream on silent. 4,200 viewers. Top comment pinned. Pacific Northwest. "Wait, they sold her whole shop for an iPhone, laugh my ass off, toxic AF." Avery screenshot it. Wallpaper material. She looked once more at the empty garage, 4 years of sparks, sweat, and steel now just echoes. They thought they'd taken her future. They'd forgotten the fire was portable. The Thai food had gone cold on the island counter, basil chicken congealing under the ring lights Harper refused to turn off. Avery stood in the doorway between kitchen and garage, hoodie dripping the empty forge behind her like a crime scene. Rick finally killed the live stream. Harper's 4200 viewers would have to wait for the iPhone drop, but the damage was done. The chat replay scrolled on Harper's second phone. Y'all sold her whole shop for a phone number. Quinn family tea. She looks like she's about to forge a murder weapon. Lynn clapped her hands like a camp counselor. Okay, family meeting, birthday lasagna in 10. Harper angled the camera for the reveal. No. Avery's voice cut through the pop track, still looping. We're doing this now. Rick sighed, the sigh of a man who'd processed too many fender benders. Avery, sit. Eat. We'll talk after Harper hits 250K. Harper was already repositioning the tripod. Actually 253K if we trend tonight. Chat's obsessed with the drama. Avery stepped fully into the light. Drama, you live streamed selling my life. Harper rolled her eyes, ring light catching the glitter on her lids. It's content, sis. Broke Sister's junk haul already got 1.2 million views from last year's clip. Remember, she swiped to an old TikTok. Avery 17 asleep on the garage couch, sparks flying behind her. Voice over in Harper's breathy cadence. Point of view. Your sister thinks rusty metal is a personality. The comments were brutal, fire emojis, laughing gifs, one viral stitch of a guy pretending to cry into a pile of scrap. Avery felt the heat crawl up her neck. You monetized me. Exposure, Harper corrected, flipping her hair. You're welcome. Rick pulled out a stool, the same one he used to sit on while Avery welded at 2 a.m. Let's be practical. Liam's deposit is 38 grand by Monday. Michigan cut his scholarship budget shortfall. Your equipment fetched exactly that. Win-win. Win for who? Avery's voice cracked like a blade quenched too fast. I worked 60 hours a week. 40 at Boone Forge, 20 slinging hash at Hop Valley. Every cent went into that shop. Lynn chimed in, real estate smile dialed to 11. And we're proud, honey. But knives don't pay mortgages. Doctors do. She gestured at the fridge collage, Liam in scrubs, acceptance letter framed, Harper's influencer plaques. No photo of Avery's first Damascus billet, the one that won junior ABS awards at 16. Rick nodded. Exactly. Liam's going to save lives. Harper's building a brand, six-figure potential. You're 21. You can rebuild. Start small. Harper snorted. Start with Etsy. Sell steak knives to Karens. Avery's hands curled into fists. You sold Grandpa's tongs. The ones he used on Iwo Jima. The anvil I bought with my first Boone paycheck. The grinder I saved 18 months for. Sentimental clutter, Rick said, waving a hand. I listed it all on Blade forums. Dealer paid cash. Done. Harper was already filming again, phone angled to catch Avery's face. Chat, look at her total meltdown. Should I do a toxic sibling series? Avery lunged, but Lynn intercepted with a manicured hand. Language, Harper. And Avery, sit. Lasagna's getting cold. The oven timer dinged like a starting pistol. Harper squealed. Perfect timing. She opened the door, revealing a sad Costco lasagna still in plastic. Sponsored by Nobody But Imagine. Avery didn't move. You sold my truck last year for Harper's ring light rig. Rick didn't flinch. Truck was a gas hog. Harper needed professional lighting for brand deals. Practical. Harper grinned. Got me the Glossier partnership. 30K in 3 months. Avery's voice dropped to forge quiet. And now you sold my forge for Liam's deposit. What's next? My blood. Liam's voice drifted in from the hallway, FaceTime on the TV. Hey fam, just finished. .org chem. Deposits locked, he waved, Ann Arbor hoodie pristine. No idea the cost. Rick beamed. Locked and loaded, son. Proud of you. Avery stared at the screen. Liam 24, golden child, pre-med prince. Never worked a day outside study groups. His tuition, his rent, his meal plan, all funded by the invisible labor of everyone else. She thought of the nights she'd come home at 3 a.m., hands blistered to find Liam's laundry in the washer because bio lab ran late. Harper was narrating again. Chat, my sister's literally vibrating. Should I start a GoFundMe for her therapy? Avery stepped closer to the camera. Harper's followers saw it first, eyes like molten steel. You want content, Avery said. Film this. She grabbed the lasagna tray still in plastic and hurled it against the backsplash. Cheese exploded like shrapnel. Harper screamed. Rick stood face purpling. Lynn gasped. The ring light. Avery's voice was calm now, the kind of calm that comes after the quench. You sold my future for 38 grand and a phone. Remember that number. Rick pointed. You live under my roof. You pay my bills, Avery finished. Heard it since I was 16. Guess what, roof's optional. She turned boots crunching on lasagna shards and walked back to the garage. The fluorescent buzzed overhead like a warning. She knelt by the trapdoor again, fingers tracing the welds she'd laid herself. 200 pounds of Damascus. The backup oven. Enough to start a legend. Behind her, Harper was already live. Guys, she just assaulted dinner. Smash like if you think she needs help. Avery pulled out her phone. Text to Silas. Avery, they sold everything, left the vault. Midnight pickup. 3 dots. Then. Silas U-Hauls gassed. Bring gloves. We ride at 1. She looked at the empty space where her anvil had been. 4 years of sparks of midnight oil of proving she was more than the family's spare parts. They thought they'd taken her fire. They'd forgotten the forge was inside her. Avery shut her bedroom door with the soft click of a man-trap springing. The house still reeked of burnt cheese and Harper's vanilla perfume, but the noise had dropped to a muffled hum. Rick yelling at the ring camera, Lynn scrubbing tile, Harper live streaming damage control. Avery leaned against the door, chest rising and falling like a bellows. No tears. Not tonight. Tears would cool the steel before it was ready. She opened the duffel she'd kept under the bed since 16, 2 changes of clothes, birth certificate, passport, the tin box with Grandpa's dog tags. She added her laptop, the external drive with every heat treat log, since 2019 and the titanium spork she'd forged for her first blade show. Then she sat on the carpet, knees to chest, and dialed. 1 ring. Boone. Silas's voice was gravel-soaked in bourbon and pine smoke. They sold the forge. Avery's words came out flat-tempered. Anvil, grinder, belts, tongs, everything but the vault. 38 grand to a Portland dealer. Liam's deposit. Silence. Then a low growl that could have been the Cascades shifting. Cole Ramsey. Posted the anvil on Blade forums an hour ago. Caption says estate liquidation motivated seller. Another beat. You want it back. I want my shop back. All of it. Plus what they missed. Silas exhaled like a forge vent. Operation Forge Heist. Midnight wheels up. I'll bring the cavalry. He hung up. Avery stared at the ceiling crack she'd memorized during insomnia shifts. Pain was just heat, pressure was just time. She opened her phone again, encrypted group chat labeled ABS Night Crew. Avery 0200. Quinn Residence, Eugene. Need 3 bodies, 26 feet U-Haul pallet jacks, ratchet straps. Gloves, headlamps, no chatter. Silas, I'm driver. Jack's Milo Ray just confirmed. Jack's Master Smith ex-ranger, bringing the quiet dollies. Milo ABS journeyman 6'5", I lift anvil solo if I have to. Reyes knife maker, locksmith hobby, spare garage code cracked last summer. Still works. Avery thumbed works. She opened the closet and pulled out the one thing she'd never let them touch, a dagger. 8-inch blade, ladder pattern, Damascus handle wrapped in black paracord. She'd forged it at 17 after Grandpa's funeral, her first solo heat treat. On the ricasso, she'd etched in microscopic letters, Flechti, non, Frangi, to bend not break. She slid it into a leather sheath, clipped it inside her waistband. Downstairs, Harper's voice floated up the stairwell, syrupy for the camera. Guys, my sister's having a moment. Pray for her, okay? Avery muted the live feed, screenshot the top comment. She's about to go John Wick with a butter knife and set it as lock screen. 1:47 a.m. Headlights off, the U-Haul ghosted down the cul-de-sac, rain hissing on the roof. Silas killed the engine 2 houses down. 4 figures in black hoodies melted out. Silas with his limp from a Viet Cong punji stick, Jack's rolling shoulders like he was still in Fallujah, Milo, cracking knuckles, the size of ham hocks, Reyes already kneeling at the keypad with a bump. Key. Avery met them at the gate. No words. She handed out nitrile gloves, LED headlamps on red mode. Reyes had the garage code overridden in 6 seconds. The roll-up purred open just enough for single file. Inside, the emptiness hit harder under red light like a cathedral stripped of relics. Avery pointed, rubber mat, trapdoor, vault. Jax and Milo dropped to work, pallet jacks sliding under the 400-pound Peter Wright anvil they'd missed because it was bolted to a concrete pedestal Rick never noticed. Reyes unbolted it with a cordless impact whisper quiet. Silas knelt by the trapdoor, lifted the lead-lined lid. The Damascus billets glowed faintly, 200 pounds of storm cloud steel, each bar worth more than Rick's sedan. Avery stacked them into neoprene sleeves like newborn rifles. The backup Evenheat oven, 15 grand of digital precision, was next. Milo muscled it onto a dolly alone, veins popping, rain dripping off his beard. 2:28 a.m. Everything loaded: anvil, oven, billets, racks of stabilizers, even the fire brick scraps. The garage looked factory fresh, like Avery had never existed. She pulled the dagger, flipped open the garage workbench, Rick's Home Depot special, and drove the blade through the particle board. It stood upright, quivering. She unsheathed a Sharpie, wrote on the blade in block letters visible from the doorway. "You sold my future. I took my forge." Silas tapped his watch. Time to vanish. They rolled the door down, latched it, wiped prints. The U-Haul eased away, red taillights off until the corner. Avery rode shotgun, window cracked, rain needling her face. No one spoke until they hit I-5 northbound. Silas broke the silence. "Ramsey's expecting us at 0600. He'll return the sold gear once Rick wires the money back under duress." Avery stared at the dagger on her lap, streetlights strobing across the Damascus waves. "He'll wire it. Or Cole calls the FBI for receiving stolen property. Either way, I'm done being the family ATM." Milo rumbled from the back. "You okay, kid?" Avery's reflection in the window looked older, edges sharper. "I'm not a kid, I'm a blade." The rain intensified, drumming the roof like a power hammer. Somewhere behind them, Harper was probably discovering the dagger at 3 a.m., screaming for her 300K followers. Somewhere Rick was realizing the garage wasn't just empty, it was a message. Avery closed her eyes. The forge wasn't the oven or the anvil. The forge was her. The rain on the U-Haul windshield blurred the interstate lights into streaks of molten gold. Avery sat in the passenger seat, the dagger across her lap like a sleeping cat, while Silas drove north through the Willamette Valley. The cab smelled of wet pine diesel and the faint tang of quenching oil that never left their clothes. No one spoke. The only sound was the rhythmic slap of wipers and the low growl of the engine. Avery's mind slipped backward the way steel remembers heat. 12 years old. Summer 2015. Grandpa's backyard in Coos Bay. Salt wind off the Pacific rattled the tin roof of his shed. Grandpa Jack, Master Chief Jackson Quinn USN Ret, sat on an ammo crate, hands like driftwood, eyes the color of gun bluing. He placed a chunk of railroad spike in Avery's small palms. "Steel's got memory, kid," he rasped, voice rough from decades of shouting over flight decks. "You gotta listen." He guided her to the coal forge, nothing fancy, just a brake drum and a hairdryer. The coals glowed cherry red. Avery's first hammer blow rang like a church bell. Sparks showered her forearms, she didn't flinch. Grandpa's calloused thumb traced the dent she'd made. "That's a start. Keep the rhythm. Steel forgives, but it don't forget." Every weekend that summer she took the Greyhound from Eugene to Coos Bay. Grandpa taught her to draw out a point to upset a shoulder to quench in Parks 50 so the spine stayed tough. On the last day before school, he gave her his Navy tongs, worn smooth, stamped USS Midway, 1944. "These carried hot steel through hell. Now they carry you." 16. First day at Boone Forge. Silas Boone met her at the gate with a squint and a grunt. "Heard you're Jack Quinn's granddaughter. Show me." Avery had $400 saved from mowing lawns. She bought a 2x72 belt grinder on Craigslist and dragged it home in her radio flyer. Rick laughed. Another hobby, but Grandpa's tongs hung on her wall like a promise. Silas started her on 1084 carbon steel. Simple, honest, forgiving. She learned to read color straw purple cherry. Learned that 1475 degrees Fahrenheit was the sweet spot where austenite formed but didn't coarsen the grain. Learned that a mist quench could crack a blade like a liar's smile. By 17 she was heat treating for paying customers. Silas let her use the Evenheat oven after hours if she cleaned the crucibles. She slept on the concrete floor, some nights alarm set for 3 a.m. to pull a blade at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for temper. 18. The truck. A 1,998 Tacoma rust on the fenders 280,000 miles. Avery bought it with tip money and birthday cash. It was freedom hauling steel from Portland driving to Worksho in Atlanta. She named it Old Iron. Then Harper needed professional lighting for her YouTube pivot. Ring lights softboxes, a $6,000 rig. Rick sat Avery down at the kitchen table. Practical decision, he said. Harper's got 80K followers. That's revenue. Your truck's a liability. Avery fought. Cried. Begged. Lynn chimed in, it's just a vehicle, honey. Harper's brand is our future. She signed the title over on a Tuesday. Harper posted the rig the next day. New studio glow up, thank you fam. Door number Quinn sisters with Avery's Tacoma blurred in the background like a prop. Avery took the bus. 2 hours each way. Added 4 hours to her 60-hour weeks. 19. The Evenheat. $15,000. A year of double shifts. She ate ramen, skipped coffee, worked Thanksgiving. When the oven arrived crated like a coffin, she and Silas muscled it into the garage at 2 a.m. Rick was asleep. Harper filmed a TikTok from her bedroom window point of view. Your sister unboxes a toaster oven at midnight. Cringe. 1.2 million views. Top comment, bet it's for meth lol. Avery wired the 220-volt line herself. Laid the fire brick. Calibrated the PID controller to plus or minus 2 degrees Fahrenheit. That oven was her womb, every blade born in its glow was hers. 20. The garage build. She insulated the roll-up door with rockwool, ran dust collection, built a quench tank from a 55-gallon drum. Every paycheck went into steel 1084-15 N25-2100 ZDP-189. She ordered Damascus billets from Devin Thomas $600 a pound. Hid them in the vault she poured under the concrete lead-lined humidity-controlled. Rick never noticed, he parked his Prius in the driveway and called it practical. Harper kept filming. A series called My Sister's Lame Garage 1.8 million views total. Clips of Avery in safety glasses covered in scale voiceover dripping sarcasm. She thinks rusty bars are aesthetic. Meanwhile, I'm manifesting Gucci. Comments, sell her scrap for rent, lol. Influencer is greater than blacksmith any day. Avery never responded. She just worked. Quenched. Tempered. Polished. Sold a chef knife to a Portland restaurant for $1,200. Bought another billet. Repeat. 21. Tonight. Back in the U-Haul, the memory reel snapped shut. Avery opened her eyes. The dagger's edge caught the dashboard light, perfect lethal hers. Silas glanced over. Your grandpa would have loved this ride. He taught me to strike while the iron's hot, Avery said. They just made me molten. Milo leaned between the seats. Harper's live right now. Title My Sister Stole My Birthday drama. 12K watching. Avery pulled up the stream. Harper in tears crocodile practiced. Guys, she threw lasagna and vanished. I think she's on drugs. Pray for her. Chat, she's forging an escape plan. Number free Avery. Avery closed the app. Let her talk. Tomorrow, she'll have nothing to film. Silas turned onto the gravel road to Boone Forge. The barn loomed ahead, lit by a single sodium lamp. Inside, her new anvil, her new oven, her new life. She touched the dagger's handle. Grandpa's words echoed, steel forgives, but it don't forget. Tomorrow the family would wake to an empty garage and a blade in the table. Tonight Avery Quinn was already reborn. The rain came sideways off the Cascades, a cold Oregon lash that turned the cul-de-sac into a black mirror. 2:03 a.m. The U-Haul idled 2 houses down, engine off, headlights dark. Inside the cab, 5 silhouettes breathed in unison, slow, deliberate, the way soldiers sink before breach. Avery stepped out first. Hood up, red headlamp dimmed to a coal glow. The dagger rode her hip like a sidearm. Behind her, Silas Boone limping but steady, Jack's ex, Ranger shoulders rolling loose, Milo 6'5" of quiet thunder, Ray's locksmith fingers already flexing. All ABS masters, all here for her. No words. Hand signals only. Reyes ghosted to the keypad. Bump key, 3 twists, green light. The roll-up purred open 6 inches, enough for single file. They slipped inside the garage, swallowing them in red-lit shadow. Phase 1 anvil. Peter Wright, 400 pounds of London pattern history. bolted to a concrete pedestal Rick never knew was load-bearing. Jax knelt cordless impact driver whispering. 4 bolts 8 seconds each. Milo slid the pallet jack under the base hydraulic hiss muffled by rain. The anvil lifted with a wet suck of rubber on concrete. They rolled it out like a coffin. Phase 2 oven. The Evenheat crouched in the corner matte black digital face dark. 15 grand of programmable fire. Silas produced a collapsible gantry crane aluminum folds to a duffel. Reyes hooked the chain falls, Jax worked the come along. The oven rose an inch too then glided on furniture skates toward the door. Every squeak swallowed by the storm. Phase 3 vault. Avery knelt where her rubber mat used to be. Pry bar under the lip. The trapdoor lifted with a sigh, lead-lined gasket sealed. Inside 200 pounds of Damascus billets stacked like gold bars in a heist movie. Each bar a storm of 15N20 and 1,084 folded 400 layers worth $600 a pound to the right chef or collector. She passed them up Milo cradling 3 at a time veins like rebar. The last billet was hers, the one she'd forged the day Grandpa died, etched JQ 1000, 944, 2019 on the end. 2:41 a.m. Everything loaded. Anvil lashed with ratchet straps. Oven cocooned in moving blankets. Billets in neoprene sleeves. The garage looked factory new, sterile wrong. Avery pulled the dagger. Flipped Rick's particle board bench. Drove the blade through the top thunk until it stood upright, quivering like Excalibur. She uncapped a Sharpie, wrote in block letters across the steel. You sold my future. I took my forge. Silas tapped his watch. Exit. They rolled the door down to a foot. Reyes wiped the keypad. Jax killed the breaker, fluorescent tube died with a pop. Darkness swallowed the space. Then motions Enzor. The kitchen light snapped on. Footsteps. Rick's voice thick with sleep. Harper, did you leave the garage open again? The side door creaked. Rick stepped in, phone flashlight cutting a white cone. He froze. The empty pedestal. The dagger in the bench. The message glowing under his beam. Avery. She stepped from the shadows behind the quenched tank red headlamp, off face lit only by the dagger's reflection. Rain dripped from her hood. The blade caught the phone light and threw it back like a warning. Rick's mouth opened. Closed. What the hell? You took my forge. Avery's voice was forge quiet-edged. I took my future. Rick lunged for the dagger. Silas materialized, hand on his shoulder, gentle, immovable. Easy, Rick. You're on camera. He nodded to Reyes, who held up a GoPro on a chest rig, red light blinking. Rick's eyes darted empty racks, missing anvil, the hole in the floor. You can't, this is my house. Your mortgage, Avery corrected. My steel. Harper's voice shrilled from the doorway phone live chat. My dad's being robbed, 911. Jax plucked the phone, ended the stream with a thumb. Federal crime to record without consent in Oregon, sweetheart. Milo loomed behind her, 6'5" of calm muscle. Harper's scream died in her throat. Rick tried again, voice cracking. Avery, we can talk. No. She sheathed the dagger. You sold Grandpa's tongs. You sold my blood. We're done talking. Silas released. Rick stepped back. Clock's ticking. Cole Ramsey wants his $38K by sunrise, or the FBI gets a stolen property report with your name on it. Rick's knees buckled. He grabbed the bench, fingers brushing the dagger's handle. You're my daughter. Was. Avery turned. Now I'm the smith. They melted into the rain. The U-Haul door rolled shut with a soft clack. Engine turned over low and steady. Taillights stayed dark until the corner. Inside the garage, Rick stood alone under the dead fluorescent dagger, gleaming like a middle finger. Harper whimpered, phone screen cracked. The message on the blade burned into their retinas. 2:59 a.m. The U-Haul hit I-5 doing 60, rain sheeting off the roof. Avery sat in the jump seat, billet on her lap, fingers tracing the folds. Silas drove. Jax cleaned his fingernails with a pocket knife. Milo snored. Rees scrolled blade forums. Cole Ramsey had already posted. Buyer beware, Quinn lot contains stolen ABS property. Return pending full refund, felony charges if not complied. Avery closed her eyes. The forge wasn't the oven. Wasn't the anvil. The forge was the fire they couldn't sell. Dawn cracked over Boone Forge like a hammer on hot steel. The barn doors yawned open, sodium light bleeding into gray sky. The U-Haul backed in, rain still dripping from its flanks. Avery stood on the concrete pad, arms crossed, watching Milo and Jax unload the anvil with the reverence of pallbearers. The Peter Wright settled onto its new stump with a resonant thum home. Silas limped to the office trailer, phone already to his ear. "Cole. It's Boone. You buy anything from a Rick Quinn yesterday?" A pause. Then Cole Ramsey's voice, smooth as polished micarta, 38 grand cash. Full shop lot. Why? Silas put it on speaker, set the phone on the workbench. Avery leaned in. Cole continued, anvils, a beauty, Peter Wright, 1,887 stamp. Grinders, belts, tongs, the works. Even a little Evenheat. I passed on. Guy said his daughter gave up the hobby. Avery's jaw flexed. Silas nodded at her go. "Cole," she said, voice flat. "Avery Quinn. That hobby was my life." The anvils on loan from Silas, Serial B 2019, his mark on the heel. Check the hardy hole. A beat. Rustle of papers. Cole's tone shifted, steel under silk. "Son of a bitch. It's here. And there's a dagger in the lot, 8-inch Damascus etched, to Avery 2015. Grandpa's. Grandpa Jax. Navy tongs too. Rick sold stolen property. Felony wire fraud across state lines." Cole exhaled like a man discovering termites in a $1 million build. "I wired him the money yesterday. Portland PD, FBI, or both." Silas took over. "We want the gear back." Quiet. "Rick refunds your 38 by noon, you deliver here. No badges yet. But if he stalls." Cole's laugh was dry. "I've got a reputation. Stolen goods tank it faster than a bad heat treat. Give me his number." Avery recited it. Cole hung up. 30 seconds later, her phone buzzed, email from Cole at ramseyblades.com. Subject: "You are gent, stolen property, return protocol." From Cole Ramsey. To Avery Quinn, Silas Boone. Subject: "Urgent, stolen property, return protocol. Rick Quinn sold me the following under false pretenses. Asterisk: Peter Wright, Anvil, Boone Forge loan, Serial B 2019. Asterisk. Evenheat oven declined, still on my dock. Asterisk. Full rack tongs, belts, grinders, stabilizers. Asterisk. Dagger Damascus etched to Avery 2015 heirloom. Oregon Revised Statute 164.095, theft by receiving. Felony. Interstate wire, PayPal gleich federal jurisdiction. Demand full refund $38 $0 to my account by 12:00 p.m. PST. Delivery. All items returned to Boone Forge, 1462 County Rad 12 Eugene, or. Non-compliance, immediate report to Portland PD plus FBI Portland Field Office. I am not the bad guy here. But I will not be the fall guy. Attached photos of anvil, stamp, dagger, etch, PayPal receipt, Rick Quinn, rick.quinn@statefarm.com. Clock starts now. Cole Ramsey. Master Dealer, Ramsey Blades LLC. Avery read it aloud. Silas whistled low. Boy writes like a DA. Jax, cleaning the anvil's face with a wire wheel, grunted. Rick's got 4 hours to rob a bank or sell a kidney. Milo stacked the last billet. Or call Harper's followers for a bailout. Avery's phone lit up. Rick, 7:14 a.m. She let it ring to voicemail. The message was pure panic. Avery, this Ramsey guy's threatening jail, says I stole from you. It's family property, get over here, bring the stuff back, or I'm calling the cops on you. She deleted it. Blocked the number. Then Harper's handle popped up in a DM live clip. 6K watching. At Harper Quinn official, my dad's being extorted by my sister's creepy boss, $38K or prison help. Comments, receipts, or it didn't happen. Influencer scam alert, number free, Avery trending. Silas poured coffee from a thermos that smelled like a sawmill. Cole's email just went viral on Blade forums. Rick's name, PayPal, all of it. Community's got pitchforks. Avery sipped the coffee, black, bitter, perfect. He thought he sold scrap. He sold my soul. Now the market decides the price. 8:02 a.m. Another email ping. Cole again. Date Rick Quinn called. Stammering. Claims family emergency. I gave him until 1159. Trailers loaded. Driver en route to Boone Forge ETA 1030. Keep the dagger. Gift. Consider it pain and suffering. Avery closed the laptop. The barn smelled of rain, oil, and possibility. Outside the storm had passed, the valley steamed under first light. Silas clapped her shoulder. Forge is back, kid. Time to strike. She looked at the anvil, her anvil gleaming under LED strips. The dagger lay beside it, Grandpa's etch catching the light. The deal was tracked. The steel was home. The hammer was in her hand. The gravel outside Boone Forge crunched like broken glass under Rick Quinn's Prius, 9:47 a.m. The sky had cleared to a hard cold blue, but the puddles still reflected yesterday's storm. Rick burst through the barn doors, tie askew faced the color of overheated steel. Avery, his voice cracked across the open space. You stole my steel, my anvil, I'm calling the sheriff. Silas stepped from the office, coffee in one hand, phone in the other. Morning, Rick. Coffee's hot. Temper's hotter. Avery stood at the anvil, dagger in hand, polishing the ricasso with 2000 grit. She didn't look up. Your steel, funny. I forged every layer. Rick stormed forward, boots splashing. That vault was in my garage. Under my roof. Your mortgage, Avery cut in, voice flat as a waterstone. My blood. Behind Rick, a black Mercedes G-Wagon rolled in, tires hissing. Cole Ramsey stepped out, tall, lean, Vesta leather sunglasses reflecting the barn like twin forges. He carried a clipboard and the calm of a man who'd ruined bigger fish. Mr. Quinn, Cole said, voice smooth, 10 minutes to wire 38 grand or I call the Portland field office. Your choice. Rick spun. Who the hell are you? Cole Ramsey. You sold me stolen property yesterday. Felony. He tapped the clipboard. Receipt attached. Your PayPal, your name, your lie. Rick's mouth opened, closed. It's for Liam's med school deposit, Michigan. No, Avery said, setting the dagger down. The blade rang against the anvil, ting like a judge's gavel. It's to hide Harper's 28 grand OnlyFans debt. Rick flinched as if quenched in ice water. That's truth. Avery pulled her phone, opened Harper's live stream on mute, 28K watching. Title: Save My Dad from Prison, $38K gold donation bar at $2.147. Comments flying. Number: Cancel Harper. She spent $28K on what? Sister forged her way out. Legend. Cole glanced at the screen, lips twitching. Influencer math. Cute. Rick's hands shook as he fumbled his phone. I can move the money. Family account. 10 minutes, Cole repeated, checking his watch. Starting now. Silas leaned against the Peter, right arms crossed. Clock's loud, Rick. Rick opened the banking app. His thumb hovered. Avery, please. Liam's future was never yours to sell. She stepped closer, voice low. You sold Grandpa's tongs. You sold my nights. You sold my truck. This is the receipt. Rick's face crumpled. He typed. The barn was silent except for rain dripping from the eaves and the soft beep-beep of pin entry. Harper's live chat exploded. He's actually paying. Number: Quinn family scam. Avery is the main character. 9:56 a.m. Rick's phone chimed. Transfer complete, $38,000 to Cole Ramsey. Cole's phone pinged in sync. He checked, nodded once. Pleasure doing business. He gestured to the trailer outside, doors already open, gear shrink wrapped. Driver's unloading. Sign here. Rick signed with a trembling hand. The driver, a kid in a Ramsey Blades hoodie, wheeled in the first crate, grinders, belts, tongs. Then the Evenheat. Finally the anvil, wrapped like a sarcophagus. Milo and Jax guided it onto the stump with hydraulic grace. Cole handed Avery the dagger. Yours. Consider it interest. Rick stared at the gear, his theft undone in 90 seconds. Avery, the house is your problem. She sheathed the dagger. I'm done bailing water from a ship you keep drilling holes in. Harper's voice crackled from the phone. Still live, chat, he paid. Crisis averted, thank you angels. Avery ended the stream with a thumb. Screen went black. 32K had watched the implosion. Cole climbed back into the G-Wagon. Rick, one more thing. Step foot in my showroom again, I press charges. Clear. Rick nodded, mute. The Mercedes rolled out, gravel spitting. Rick stood alone amid the crates, the anvil gleaming like an accusation. Silas clapped him on the back, gentle, final. Time to go, Rick. Forge is closed to you. Rick shuffled out, shoulders folded. The Prius started, coughed, drove away. Avery ran her fingers over the anvil's face. The hammer felt right in her hand. Silas poured coffee. Gears back. Steel's back. You're back. She looked at the dagger, then at the open barn doors where the valley steamed under morning Sunday. They thought they sold my future. She lifted the hammer. I just bought it back with interest. The week after the showdown at Boone Forge, the Quinn house on Willow Creek Lane looked like a forge left to cool. The lawn went unmowed, the Prius sat under a tarp, and the ring lights in Harper's room gathered dust. Inside, the silence was louder than any hammer blow. Liam came home unannounced on a Thursday. No Ann Arbor hoodie, no future doctor swagger. Just a duffel, and a paper Starbucks apron folded in his fist. The med school deposit had bounced the instant Rick refunded Cole Ramsey. Michigan's financial aid office sent a polite but final email, enrollment deferred indefinitely. He lasted 3 shifts at the campus Starbucks before texting Avery from the break room. Liam, I make lattes now. $14 divided by HR. You were right. Avery blocked. Harper's empire crumbled faster than overcooked meringue. The livestream of Rick's humiliation hit 1.2 million views in 48 hours. Sponsors, energy drinks, teeth whiteners, a collagen brand dropped her overnight. TikTok slapped a community guidelines strike for doxing. She'd flashed Rick's PayPal on camera. Her 250K followers hemorrhaged to 180K. The final blow, a cease and desist from OnlyFans after leaked DMs showed she'd charged subscribers $28K for exclusive content that was just filtered selfies. She posted a tearful apology from her childhood bedroom, ring lights off, mascara streaked. I'm canceling myself before y'all do. Number Harper humble. Comments number cancel Harper, trending nationwide. Lynn showed up at Boone Forge on a rainy Tuesday, clutching a Tupperware of lasagna like a white flag. Avery was at the grinder shaping a chef blade, sparks cascading. She met her mother at the barn door. Lynn's voice cracked. Honey, the house is quiet. Harper hasn't left her room. Liam sleeps on the couch. Your father. He's ashamed. Avery killed the grinder. Silence rang. Ashamed doesn't pay the mortgage. Lynn thrust the lasagna forward. Come home. One dinner. We'll fix this. Avery took the container, set it on a crate. You stood by while he sold my future. You told me to be practical. I am. She pulled her phone, opened the blocked list, Rick, Lynn, Harper, Liam. One tap, Lynn Quinn. Unblock. She tapped block. Lynn's lip trembled. You're my daughter. I was your ATM. Avery stepped back. The barn door rolled shut between them with a metallic sigh. Inside the loft apartment above the forge, Avery's new life fit in 400 square feet. A futon, a hot plate, a mini fridge humming like a quench tank. The window overlooked the valley cedars, dripping mist curling off the river. She'd hung Grandpa's tongs over the door. The dagger lived on the wall edge, catching moonlight. Her phone stayed on Do Not Disturb. The only notifications. Asterisk Blade Forums DM commission queue full, 6-month wait. Asterisk Silas text rents free till your lead smith. Hammer's hot. She blocked the family group chat. Blocked Harper's burner accounts. Blocked Lynn's real estate page. The silence was clean like a freshly dressed billet. One night Milo dropped off groceries, steak eggs, a 6-pack of Deschutes. Heard Harper's selling her ring lights on Facebook Marketplace. $200 OBO. Avery laughed, the sound sharp as a snapped blade. Let her learn depreciation. She spent evenings at the anvil. The first knife under her own mark, a 10-inch Guido San My Core ironwood handle. She etched the Tang Phoenix Hashone, forged in betrayal. A Portland chef paid $2,800 sight unseen. The house on Willow Creek became a ghost. Rick took night shifts at a 24-hour claims call center. Liam steamed milk and spelled names wrong. Harper's last post, a black square caption, logging off. 12K, likes, 40K comments, most telling her to stay gone. Avery's loft smelled of coffee, cutting oil and possibility. She fell asleep to the low hum of the Evenheat cycling down the valley dark outside her window. She was home. A month after the heist, Eugene buzzed like a grinder on high. The gossip mill ran hotter than a 100 degrees Fahrenheit forge, and the Quinn name was the billet getting hammered. Willow Creek, Lane, 7:12 a.m. Rick's Prius was gone, replaced by a dented 2003 Tacoma with a for sale sign taped inside the window. Rumor he'd sold his F-150 to cover Harper's $18K credit card roulette after OnlyFans froze her payouts. The truck brought $6,200, not enough. The house, once Lynn's pride open house ready, was 30 days from foreclosure. Wells Fargo notice taped to the door, $120,000 past due. Neighbors whispered at the dog park. Rick's working graveyard at the call center. Liam's the barista with the med school dreams. Harper's room, 11:03 p.m. Ring lights on marketplace, professional setup, $150, OBO used 3 mo's. Her follower count froze at 142K, TikTok banned her main. The backup got number cancel, Harper trending for 72 hours straight. A local news blog ran the headline, Eugene influencer's family meltdown from Gucci to GoFundMe. The comments were brutal poetry. Starbucks on 6th and Pearl, 2:17 p.m. Liam in green apron misspelling Caitlin as Caitlin on a cup. His pre-med hoodie hung in the back, replaced by a name tag that read Future Barista. Customers recognized him from Harper's viral apology. One snapped a photo, Golden Boy now steams oat milk, 400K likes. Boone Forge, same month. Avery's world had flipped. Silas called her to the office trailer, slid a new badge across the bench. Avery Quinn, lead bladesmith. Pay bump to $85K divided by year plus 20% commission. The waitlist hit 42 knives, chefs, collectors, a survival YouTuber offering $15K for a Bowie. Her first solo piece under the new title, a 12-inch slicer ZDP 189 core curly koa handle. Etched Tang Phoenix #7. Sold in 11 minutes to a James Beard winner for $12,400. The loft apartment now had a real bed, a steel dining table she forged herself, and a wall of sold tags, sold $11,800, sold $13,200. The Evenheat ran 18 hours a day. She'd upgraded the dust collection, added a second grinder, and taught 2 apprentices the 3-temper cycle. Silas watched from the doorway, pride in his eyes like a clean bevel. Eugene gossip distilled. Asterisk Rick night shifts, plus foreclosure clock. Asterisk Lynn, real estate license, suspended, too many personal issues. Asterisk Harper moved to her cousin's couch in Salem, ring lights in a box. Asterisk Liam community college accounting night classes, Starbucks by day. Boone Forge Friday happy hour. The ABS crew cracked Deschutes Black Butte porters around the anvil. Jax raised his bottle. To Avery stole her forge back, built a bigger one. Milo toasted. And left the family in the slag. Reyes showed his phone, Harper's latest marketplace ad, iPhone 16 Pro Max, lightly used, $800. Avery clinked her bottle against the anvil. Ting. Let them sell pixels. I sell edges. Outside the valley steamed under October Sunday. The mortgage notice on Willow Creek was 29 days from auction. Inside the forge, Avery's hammer fell in perfect rhythm, clang clang clang, each strike a payment on a future she owned outright. The Quinns were slag. Avery was the blade. Saturday, late October. Boone Forge smelled of coffee, cutting oil, and the faint sweetness of tempering steel. Avery was at the power hammer, drawing out a 15-inch Bowie, sparks fountaining like golden rain. The rhythm was perfect, clang, whir, clang. Her phone buzzed on the bench, unknown number. She ignored it. The barn door rolled open. Liam stepped in first, Starbucks apron swapped for a faded UO hoodie, hair unwashed. Behind him, Rick, tie gone, eyes sunken, carrying a small velvet pouch like contrition in his fist. Silas emerged from the office, arms crossed. Shops closed to walk-ins. Avery killed the hammer. Silence rang. She wiped sweat with the back of her wrist. 5 minutes. Liam swallowed. I quit Starbucks. Enrolled in accounting at Lane Community, night classes. Rick's voice was gravel. Sold the Tacoma. Bought this back. He opened the pouch, poured the dagger into his palm, Grandpa's Damascus, the one Avery left in the bench. The etch to Avery 2015 caught the LED light like a scar. Dealer in Portland had it. Took every dime from the truck. Avery took it. The handle fit her grip like memory. She set it on the anvil blade up. Liam spoke first, words tumbling. I didn't know the deposit was from your forge. Dad said family fund. I thought it was insurance money. Or Mom's commissions. His hands shook. I screamed at you on the phone. Called you selfish. I was wrong. Rick's turn. He stared at the concrete. The house was 30 days from foreclosure. Not Liam's tuition. That was the lie. His voice cracked like green wood. Harper's OnlyFans debt $28K in chargebacks. Lynn's listings dried up. I panicked. Told myself your steal was practical. Sold it to keep the lights on. To save face. Avery's laugh was sharp. Face over family. Classic. Rick flinched. I lied to everyone. To Cole. To Liam. To you. I'm sorry. The words sounded foreign in his mouth, like a language he'd never learned. Liam pulled a folded paper from his pocket, handwritten ledger. I tracked every dollar. Dad's retirement cashed out 2 years ago. Harper's brand deals were loans against future earnings. The family fund was your paychecks. Mine too, when I tutored. He met her eyes. I was the golden child. You were the forge. Avery studied the ledger. Columns neat, brutal. Avery, $61,400 contributed. Liam, $0. Harper, $28,400 owed. Rick added quieter, I start a second job Monday. Warehouse 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., Lynn's temp work. Liam's paying rent. Avery picked up the dagger, turned it so the light danced on the ladders. You want forgiveness. Rick shook his head. Don't deserve it. Liam nodded. We just needed to give this back. And say it. Avery walked to the grinder, flicked it on. The wheel screamed. She touched the dagger's edge, still perfect. I won't forgive. Not today. Maybe not ever. She killed the motor. But I won't let you be homeless. Rick's head snapped up. Avery. I'm not the bank. She pulled her phone, opened a new doc. But I have 100 pounds of Damascus. Cole Ramsey will buy at $600 divided by LB. That's $60,000. Enough to stop foreclosure. Liam's eyes widened. That's yours. Was. Avery typed fast. Loan agreement, Quinn to Quinn. Principal $60,000. Asterisk. Term 8 years. Asterisk. Interest 4%. Asterisk monthly, $792.71. Asterisk collateral Willow Creek House. Drafter Liam Quinn, accounting student. She slid the phone across. You draft the final. Notarized. Signed. First payment December 1. Miss 1, I foreclose. Rick stared at the screen, like it was salvation and damnation. You'd do this. Practical, Avery said, echoing his old line. You taught me. Liam took the phone, fingers trembling. I'll have it by Monday. Rick reached for the dagger. Avery pulled it back. This stays. Payment for pain. They nodded. No hugs, no tears. Just the weight of steel between them. Silas clapped Rick's shoulder. Doors that way. They left. The Tacoma coughed to life outside, gravel spitting. Avery watched until the taillights vanished. She turned the dagger over. Grandpa's voice in her head, steel forgives, but it don't forget. She hung it above the anvil. The forge was hers. The family was on a payment plan. Monday, November 3. Boone Forge at dawn. Avery stood over the power hammer, 100 pounds of Damascus billet, glowing cherry red. Cole Ramsey's trailer idled outside, G-Wagon, hitched driver sipping coffee. The deal was done, $62,000 wired before sunrise. $60K to the Quinn mortgage. $2K in Avery's pocket for interest on pain. Cole stepped in, boots crunching scale. Best billet I've seen all year. You sure about the loan? Avery wiped her hands on a rag. They pay or they lose the house. Either way, I'm square. Cole nodded, respect in his eyes. Phoenix Forge is official. Your mark's already on Blade forums. She'd filed the LLC last week. Phoenix Forge, Avery Quinn lead bladesmith. The logo a hammer striking a flame into a blade. Tuesday. Liam emailed the contract clean notarized brutal. Loan agreement. Lender Avery Quinn Phoenix Forge LLC. Borrowers Richard, Lynn Quinn. Principal $60,000. 0. Interest 4% per annum. Term 96 months. Monthly payment $792.71 due first. Collateral 1,427 Willow Creek Lane, Eugene or. Late fee $50 plus 1.5%. Drafter Liam Quinn Accounting Student ID 88421. Avery signed with a stylus. Rick and Lynn signed via DocuSign at 1147 p.m. First payment auto-drafted December 1 $792.71 from Rick's warehouse account. She texted Liam. Avery house saved. Clock starts. Liam, thank you. I'll make every payment. She blocked him again. Clean break. December. The forge ran hot. Avery's first knife under Phoenix Forge Phoenix Hashone. Asterisk steel. 52100 core 15 N20 cladding 400 layers. Length 10-inch gyuto. Handle stabilized curly maple copper pins. Asterisk tang etch forged in betrayal. Tempered in freedom. She heat treated at 1475 degrees Fahrenheit quenched in Parks 50 triple tempered at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. The edge took a razor in 3 passes on the wicked wheel. She polished to 8000 grit the blade catching light like liquid mercury. A Michelin-starred chef from Portland Jameson Holt flew in by helicopter. He tested the edge on a sheet of paper slice. On a tomato whisper. 15 grand, he said. Wire now. Avery took the check. Phoenix Hashone, SOLD $15,000. January. The loft had a real kitchen now induction burner, cast iron pans. The wall of sold tags grew #3, $13 200 $7, $14 800. The wait list hit 60. Silas promoted her to partner 30% of gross. Rick's payments hit like clockwork. $792.71 on the first. Lynn sold the ring lights. Harper vanished to Salem. Liam passed accounting 101 with a 98. Spring. Avery stood at the anvil Phoenix No. 1 inch a rosewood case chef's name engraved. The forge glowed behind her Evenheat humming grinders singing apprentices learning the 3-beat draw. Voiceover soft but steel sharp. They thought they sold my future. I built a sharper one. She lifted the hammer. Clang. The blade was hers. The forge was hers. The future was hers. Post-credit scene. Harper's new TikTok bedroom in Salem, no ring lights, voice shaky. My sister ghosted me. I messed up. I just want to say sorry. 90% of comments. She's a legend. Phoenix Forge is greater than your whole brand. Pay your debt, Harper. Avery never saw it. She was too busy forging Phoenix #42.